Hi guys. Okay, so for today I'm going to show you guys how to fabricate a full chicken and make some chicken nuggets. But I just want to go over really fast that I got this, it's almost 5 pounds and I got it for $8. So you really can save some money. It's the time that you're gonna put into it is what the labor is. But when you go to buy something that's already been fabricated, you are paying for that labor. So I'm gonna show you how to do it at your own home if you want to get a full chicken like this and try to practice cutting up all the different pieces. I'm going to show you the proper way to fabricate the chicken. So I already have my chicken over here ready. I want to show you really fast, like we talked about, the giblets. So inside the cavity of the bird, you will find what is the giblets. So this is part of the neck. It looks like they only gave us the liver and the heart. Also too would be the gizzards, which is that digestive tract. I don't see it in here, so maybe something happened when they were trying to stuff the bird. But remember, a dressed bird comes with all the giblets attached, and then these can be used for stock or something like that. So we're just gonna put those to the side because we don't really need them. Okay, so this is my full chicken here, okay? This is with the breast side up. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to first remove this fat pack right down here because I don't need that at all, and I could just remove it. Remember, chicken's very lean because it does not have any fat that runs through the actual meaty part of the chicken. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make some cuts right here between the leg and the breast on both sides to kind of just open that up so I can see where the muscle connects to both. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to also run my knife. So now it's pretty much opened up here. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to pop out the legs so that it comes right out from the joint of the chicken. And now you can see it lays more flat. So I popped that out right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the bird over, back side up, and now you can see where those joints were connected right here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run my knife along the back of the chicken so that I can see where all of that fat runs through. It's almost like a guide. The skin on the chicken, it kind of hides everything. So if you make a nice little mark here, it's easier for you. Now I'm going to run my knife down the center of the chicken, kind of exposing that as well. So now that I can see where I'm going to start to cut. So I'm going to cut around where I popped out those legs there. And I'm going to, there's something called the oyster meat, and I'll show you once I get that out. It's a little, almost, it looks like a little round ball here. It's the most tender part of a chicken, and it's very small, but it is delicious. And I'm going to just cut this off right here, going all the way down. And if you dislocate right there, the bone from the chicken, you can cut right through. So now I have my leg. The thigh and the leg is attached. And what I'll do is I'm going to do that same thing over on the other side here. I'm going to cut around that little oyster meat. It's a good guide there for you if you can see. And then I'm going to just cut down where I dislocated it from the side. So you can see that's the oyster meat. It's on both sides. It's a little tiny piece of meat that looks round. So now my other thigh and leg are both intact. So you can see I took that off and there's no more meat is there. Okay, so now I'm going to flip the bird back over. And now I'm going to work on the front side. So I'm going to work down right here of the breast of the chicken. So if you can feel with your hand, right along the front of the breast here, the breastbone, and make an incision so that you can separate those two pieces of meat from the actual chicken breast. One important thing that you do want to do is that all the chickens still have that wishbone attached right up front. So taking off the skin to kind of reveal the meat down there. You should be able to find the wishbone. So you can use your hands kind of to get in there, or you can take the tip of the knife to kind of run through. But you want to remove this wishbone before you actually take the breast off of the chicken, because it's kind of what holds it together in a sense. So you do want to make sure that you get the wishbone out. You can always, it will be connected, the two together. You could keep it whole, or you could actually break it right here and have two pieces of the wishbone, but I'm just going to try to keep it intact because I can feel it. I actually think, okay, that was one side of the wishbone, and now I'm going to just work on the other side here. Getting that out. And sometimes you'll see that people will scrape their knife along the wishbone to kind of expose it that way. Whatever's easiest, as long as you can get this out, because it will cause a little bit of issues if you can't get the wishbone attached. Okay, so now I have both sides of that wishbone. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it back the way I had it. And I can feel that this part of this side of the breast is coming off very nicely from the carcass here. So I'm using the bones, almost like the chest bones, as my guide, and going down the rib cage of the chicken. I'm gonna go cut up here. I'm trying to get as much meat as possible because that's your yield. You want to try and get as much as possible. So I come up here, and this is where the wing is attached to the breast. And you can see that right here, just like before with that, with the leg, I'm going to cut right through here. And sometimes if you have not already dislocated the arms, it will be a little bit difficult to cut through the muscle. But now you can see that I have the full breast and the wing attached. Right here underneath is what's called the tenderloin, and you could literally just pull that off. So these are sold in stores just by themselves. There's two tenderloins that you'll find underneath the breast. A lot of the times too, the tenderloin will still be intact, but you can just pull that right off. It's very nice and tender, where it gets its name, tenderloin. And then also too, you want to do kind of like the same thing. This is where the drumette and the wingette are. So if you like buffalo wings, or if you like to eat wings in general, this is where you'll find it. So what you can do is the same type of thing, is you can break that bone right there, and then it's very easy to just cut right through. And so now you can see where you have your wing and your drum. So this would be your wing, and you could take off the wing tip if you wanted to, or you can keep it on. Either way, you would kind of do the same thing where you would dislocate it and you would cut it right there. I'm just going to keep it intact. So now I have my breast and my drumette right here. What this is called is an airline breast. When you keep this attached to the actual breast of the chicken, you would then, if you wanted to remove that, you did not want a bone at all, you want a boneless chicken breast, you would just do the same type of thing, and you would remove it from up here. And now you would have your drum. So this is your wing and your drum, which, if it's a little hard to see with the fat on it, but this is what you would get when you get buffalo wings. You would have the wing and then the drum that comes with that. It looks like a little baby leg, but it's really the wing of the chicken, just cut up into two parts. So I have that and my breast and my tenderloin here. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to try to just go a little quicker over on this side, but using that breastbone right along here, I'm going to kind of use it as my guide. I'm running my knife. I'm letting my knife do the work here, and I'm just literally going right down the breast and the rib of the chicken, and I'm just detaching it that way. Once I get right down here, I can kind of cut it, and sometimes, like I said, that skin is really tough, so cut right through it. And the more yield you get with your chicken, the better, because you don't want to waste any of that wonderful meat. So now I come up back up to the top here, and if you see, you can kind of see where I want to cut through that skin so that I can go through the top of the chicken so I can have my breast and my wing there. So that's right through there. So now you can see this is just the carcass by itself. I'm left again right down here with the two. I'll separate that. So now I have my wing and my drumette is detached too. It's not on the chicken like it was last time, and I can break the two right in half so that I can have both my drum and my wing. Same thing. So now I have the two drums, the wings. I have my two breasts, which I'm actually going to take off the skin because I'm going to cut this up for the chicken nuggets. But now you can see a better idea too. When you do take the skin off, and you can keep the skin on, the skin is just fat. So that's where you get all your flavor. And then remember I told you behind here, see this tenderloin is a little bit smaller. But these are great pieces to have. Okay, so then you can see there. So one other thing that I did not show you would be the thigh and the leg. So you can see the natural fat that runs through the two of them. And you can take off the skin if it's easier. It's definitely easier to see underneath the skin where the two come together. But you can see right here, and you could always pop out the joint too from the two if you wanted to. But you can see that this is where the thigh and the leg come together. So they're attached, but then you can always buy, you know, chicken thighs, and this would be your chicken thigh and your chicken legs. So they are attached together, and then once you take them apart, those are the pieces. So you can see a pretty good layout there of what you get out of a chicken. So you get a lot of pieces here. You could make a couple of meals with one chicken. And like I told you, it was only $8. And sometimes you can get them even cheaper. I got this one at Ralph's. I know that Walmart has great deals on their chickens. That's what I would usually get it for the classroom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut up my chicken breasts into some little bite-sized pieces for my chicken nuggets that I'm going to be doing. And you can cut your chicken up if this is something that you decide you want to do for your chicken lab. You can cut them up into bite-sized pieces. You could do chicken tenders where they would be longer pieces like that. If you wanted to make a chicken sandwich, you could do the same exact thing and do this dredge and fry it and make a chicken sandwich. Or if you wanted to do chicken and waffles. I mean, remember, chicken uses every type of cooking method. So you guys can get creative with whatever you want to do here and really make something really good. So it's a little bit of practice that you have when you are fabricating a whole chicken. So don't get frustrated if you try to do this and you kind of demolish it. That's okay. You're learning. But also too, it's a great skill to have. Okay, I'm gonna actually leave that there for you. I'm just going to wash my hands really fast, and then I'm gonna prepare the dredge for my chicken nuggets. What this recipe is, it's actually a copycat recipe from Chick-fil-A. So if you're one of those that said you really enjoy Chick-fil-A's chicken nuggets, and we know that they are the most healthy chicken nuggets out there, so maybe you want to recreate this at home. There's tons of different chicken nugget recipes out there, so you can get creative. You can use breadcrumbs or pancos, kind of similar to when we did the onion ring lab, but this is for chicken nuggets. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my liquid mixture here. So first I'm going to take my milk, it's 1 cup of milk, and put it into my bowl. They do suggest, and like you guys found out in your PowerPoint presentation, you can use a brine on your chicken the night before. So you could just brine it in some water and salt, or what they do and they suggest is brine it in some pickle juice. So if you have pickle juice and you wanna brine your chicken overnight, stick your chicken in the pickle juice, and because pickles juice has lots of seasoning and salt to them, and then drain out your chicken, and then you can do this process. So if you have time, you can do that. If not, then you can just do what I'm doing and use your chicken that you cut up right away. So I'm gonna actually stick my chicken in here, right into the milk and egg mixture. Get it all nice and coated. And then I'm going to work on my dry mixture. I like my chicken to have a little bit of a spice to it. And this isn't baking, so you don't have to be very precise. You can create. If you like different types of seasonings, go ahead and do that. This isn't on the recipe, but I like to add a little spice, like I said. So this is the time I would add some hot sauce to my liquid measuring over here. Give that a little stir, and that'll just add some extra flavor to my chicken. Set that to the side. And now I'm going to work on my dredge. So what makes this very unique and simple is that we put all of our dry ingredients right into a plastic bag. So it's 1.5 cups of flour. I have a 1/2 cup, so I'll do this 3 times. And I'm putting it right into the plastic bag. So 1.5 cups. I think what is their secret ingredient for Chick-fil-A is that they add some powdered sugar. So 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar right into the bag. 2 teaspoons of salt. So I don't have my teaspoons, but I know there's 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So I need 2, so not about full is good. And then they also suggest just regular black pepper and some paprika. I have some cayenne pepper because I like, in my household, we like things a little bit spicy. So instead of paprika, I'm gonna change that out for cayenne pepper. And then I'm going to add my regular black pepper right into here. And I'm also going to add a tiny bit of garlic salt. And you can add some more seasonings. Check out what you have at home in your spice cabinet. Maybe you guys have some really wonderful things that you want to throw in your flour mixture. And go ahead. Okay, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of that. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just close it up and shake it up. So I'm going to make sure that this is all nice and mixed together. Of course, you could do this in a bowl if you wanted to, but this makes for easy cleanup because then you can just throw this bag away. And you can make sure when you shake up your chicken that it's all nice and coated in this bag. Okay, so what I have on the stove here is I already have some oil that's heated up. It's been going for a little bit so that I know it's pretty well hot and ready. Remember, if you have smoke coming out of your oil, it's way too hot. You need to turn it down, and you do not want to fry when it's like that. You want to see your oil have a little bit of a shimmer to it. That's when you know that it's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my chicken and I'm going to make sure that I get off some of that dredge. I don't want it to be soaking wet because then it's going to just make this flour mixture in here just a soggy mess. So I am going to make sure that I just kind of strain it a little tiny bit before I add it to my bag. And I'm going to add all of them in there that I cut up. And if you wanted to keep your chicken whole, like the legs and stuff, if you cut up your whole chicken and you wanted to make a fried chicken out of it, that would be delicious too. You could just add your chicken pieces full right into your milk and egg mixture and then bread and fry them that way. And you would make full chicken, fried chicken then. Okay, so now that that's good, making sure that you drain that excess liquid out is crucial. I did have some students in the past that just poured this whole thing right into the bag. Soggy mess. You don't want to do that. You do not want to make sure that you don't get too much of that liquid in here because it'll just cause it to be very yucky. So I'm just shaking this around, making sure that all those chicken pieces get nice and coated. Okay? Okay, so now that I did that, you can see how nice and coated all of these are in here. They look great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to drop them into the oil. This takes no time, so I can see it's ready, totally ready for me. It is going to fry up beautifully. I can add probably about 10 or so to my pan. Remember, you don't want to add too many. You don't want to overcrowd the pan because then that will drop the temperature of the oil. It'll cause for uneven cooking. You also want to make sure that your oil's not too hot so that they don't overcook. And I'll probably just add 2 more because I can't really see where the chicken is exactly that I put in first, and I don't want them to overcook. I have a slotted spoon here ready for me so that when I pick up my chicken, that oil can kind of leak down. I have my little rack over here. I put a paper towel underneath it, so just in case any oil drips down, I'm not going to get it all over the counter. Remembering too, we are working with poultry, so we don't want to cross-contaminate. We want to make sure that the internal temperature is 165 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer at home, the way you can test and make sure is that the meat is completely white inside. It's not pink. If you cut it open, that there's clear juices that run out onto your cutting board, not any type of pink at all. Remember, salmonella, eating raw chicken can make you very sick, so you want to make sure that you're following all of those safety protocols when you are cooking poultry. I'm just going to let those cook for probably maybe 2 more minutes, but in the meantime, I do want to talk to you guys about roasting a full chicken. So over here is what is called a roaster pan, and I have some things that go into this roaster pan on the bottom that are pretty staple ingredients for when you're going to be roasting a full chicken or turkey for that matter. So you would just chop up your onion and your carrots and some celery, and you would place that right onto the bottom of the roasting pan. If you didn't have a chicken dish that a chicken fits in nicely, you could use a Pyrex dish or some other dish like that. That's perfectly fine. What else I have here is what are called poultry herb blend. So it is a mixture of fresh thyme, rosemary, and sage. What I would do is I would chop them up, mince them so they're in tiny little pieces. Then you want to mix it with some sort of whipped butter and make it so that it's really nice and soft. And then what you would do is you would rub that butter and herb mixture all over your chicken. You would even want to try and rub it underneath the chicken too. And then you would place, after it's completely buttered up with those herbs and stuff, you'd want to place it right on top of those cut vegetables. So your carrots, your onions, your celery. You would then put it into the oven. I believe my recipe said 400 degrees for about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes, depending on the size of your chicken. And it's almost like you're roasting a turkey, same type of thing. But that butter and those herbs will give it that really beautiful crust. I was going to show you guys that today, but just to save some time, I have this recipe if you would like it, to roast a full chicken. If you've never done that before, it's great. You could also too stuff some stuff into the cavity if you wanted to do stuffing or some other herbs or even some onions and carrots, and then do what they call truss the chicken, and that's tying the legs together to keep all the moisture in. That's a great option too, but I just wanted to show you that just in case you wanted to roast a chicken. Remember, we talked about that in your warm-up. You can roast, you can fry, you can poach, you can grill, you can saute. All of these things you can do with chicken. That's why chicken's so great, because they can be made in all different types of cooking methods. Okay, so back to my chicken over here. It looks great. It's nice and golden brown. This looks beautiful here. I just want to make sure all my pieces are good. If you have smaller pieces, like this little guy over here, they look pretty good to come out. Golden brown is the key. So you could also make your own maybe honey mustard or dipping sauce if you had some stuff at home to make with them. And if you wanted to keep your chicken whole and just fry one big piece and make a chicken sandwich, that would be great. Or you could do this for breakfast and have chicken and waffles. That's sweet and spicy. Really, it's endless. So I'm just going to continue to fry up my chicken over here. Please keep in mind, you guys can do whatever variation of chicken you want. So think of what you have at home. This is some easy chicken nuggets. If you were in class, you would be making some chicken nuggets just like this. Or if you're in my advanced culinary class, you'd be cutting up a chicken and we would be roasting it. So think about what you want to do for your next cooking lab. Make sure that you fill out all the follow-along questions for this cooking demo and turn those in when you're done. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you later.